Welcome to the Between the Pages podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the power of a single image or picture in a children's book.
Yeah, I'm Jimmy, this is Sarah, this is our podcast. We get interesting questions, so y'all keep it up.
We've all heard the statement of a picture's worth 1,000 words, but really that's true. And especially like when you're teaching your kids to read.
Yeah, and a lot of people, you can go to an art museum and, impressionist or whatever. Some people look at a piece of work and they go, oh, I see this. And other people look at it and they see something different, and so.
It's always so funny. They have those little, if you see a horse, it means you're this type of person. If you see a cow, it means you're this type of person. And then there'll be people, in the comments, what if I see a vase? I don't see either of those things that you said. I see something totally different.
Yeah, or what if you see a rhinoceros?
Yeah.
What does that mean? So take charge, right, I guess. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, when I am laying out the words and I see the illustrations, I get to tweak them and change them. And so I know what it is I'm working to communicate. But a lot of people, they'll look at it and they'll come back to me and they'll go, what?
Well, and sometimes we'll say that, I'll read it or my mom will read it and we'll be like, well, this is what it made me think when I read that way, so maybe we need to change it because it's not getting the actual message across.
Yeah, right.
Especially if it's two of us think one way and you're like, well, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. And so that kind of thing helps to fix illustrations before they make it out. But along the way, there are certain illustrations that, I love the one of Jake playing with his little blocks. He's stacking his blocks and stuff, and
Which is like a kid milestone, I think, because all of them stack stuff. At least all of mine do.
Build towers.
Yeah, well, even when we were cooking the other day, Lillian, we're over here putting stuff in the mixer, and she's over here stacking the baking soda and the powder on top of each other, making a huge tower. And I'm like, build towers.
Comes natural, I guess. But, and then, Jane and Trumpet Train, the Tranquility scene where she's walking in the park with a parasol. That's a beautiful scene to me. That scene communicates a lot of emotion, if you will, to me. But recently, working on the snowflake, there's a scene in there where, Clint is, he's dealing with he's sitting beside the fire and, unbeknownst to him, behind him, is the stairway to heaven is portrayed, and I used the DNA strand, the shape of that to create the stairway, and there's angels there and they're pointing the way and that kind of thing, and Clint he's not a good guy in the beginning. He's wears a black hat. He doesn't do good by people.
God's not happy with you, Clint.
And so I was going to go with a different publication company with that one, just because I had all these books I wanted to do in a single year, and it was all.
There's only so much you can do.
Right. So the original book had just Red Scent, the horse, and Clint. Okay, but the company said, well, you can't have any talking animals. Animals can't talk. The only animals that can talk are a donkey and a serpent. And so I'm like,
that's what talks in the Bible.
Yeah. Well, evidently, I guess that's the case.
We don't know about parrots.
That's a whole nother topic for another time. When we do the veil, we'll see how it goes. But so I had to add the donkey to the list of characters.
And then we went to a different.
And then I went to another company. So that's how the donkey wound up in there, and it's the one who actually does all the talking. So we don't want to confuse children. But he's sitting there, and he's he sees the snowflake fall to the ground, and it just kind of gets destroyed by the impact and the fire and whatnot.
Did you read my thing?
Not necessarily.
I can't wait for you to read it.
Well, and so he's like, I haven't got to that.
It's a good one.
So
make sure you sign up for the newsletter for January.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one, y'all. And so, but he's like, well, I need to change who I am.
Yeah.
And so he mentions the name, I am. And so inadvertently, he calls on God when he does that.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
So I heard this, it was like a mini Bible study or whatever, and they were like, when you're saying, oh, I am stupid, or I am whatever, I'm this, it's not just that you're talking about yourself, you're talking about God, and so you're like being...
You're projecting.
Yeah, and being like disrespectful and blasphemy and whatever, and it's like, you're not supposed to talk about yourself poorly, but it's because he says, I am, you're actually saying that about him, and it's not cool.
A lot of times when people, it's called projection in psychology, and when people are saying things about you, actually they're projecting their own shortcomings onto you.
Yeah.
And so, people say things, and you just got to realize, don't get your feelings hurt about it. They're just talking about themselves, really, and their problems, and you need to be thoughtful and compassionate and considerate and try to help somebody like that. But anyway, he calls on the name, the I am, and at that point, things begin to change. Okay, and he's still in rebellion, but that particular scene, the beam of light is shining down on the donkey, so the donkey's going to be empowered with the ability to speak in the next scene, and that's when he finds out God's not happy with you, Clint. And he startles him and all that kind of stuff. And so, but I like that scene. I like the all of the little parts and pieces of that go with that. And but yeah, there's I guess.
And that goes into a single image can carry truth, rescue, mercy, temptation, blessing. But when you're teaching your kid to read, even if they can't read the words, they're reading. They can see, oh, donkey, oh, fire, oh, hot, and they're reading by pictures before they're reading by words, which is really important.
And like in Fig and Zig, they're playing tag with the mini bike, and I don't know if you guys ever did that when you were kids, but when we were kids, that's how we played tag. One person would get on the mini bike, and whoever was able to catch them and tag them, the other person got to be on the mini bike.
That is wild.
Yeah, that was a great game.
You can tell they did that. They did not let us do that.
Oh, yeah. You probably couldn't get away with that today. You'd have to have a helmet and knee pads and shoulder pads and everything else. You couldn't just... But, one day we were chasing after Charlie. He was on the mini bike, and he wasn't watching where he was going, and he just drove right off the edge of the creek. And that's what happens in Fig and Zig. And so I just like that scene, because... Sig, the dog, he's a Dalmatian. He's like got this shocked look on his expression on his face, and Zig, he's just, I can do this. Yeah. I got this, determined look. He doesn't, So I like that scene.
Where you got that from?
Yeah, and then the JG going in the house, saving the people, carrying out the baby like a football.
And that's the thing when you're reading with the kids, you don't have to just sit there and read the words and, okay, next page, read the words. Okay, next page, you can say, hey, what do you notice about this scene?
Yeah.
What do you think's going on? Even maybe before you read. So.
Yeah, see, those are my favorite. I mean, some of my favorite scenes in these books and whatnot. But, other people, other scenes will be their favorite. So, there's only a few scenes where I'm like, okay, yeah, that didn't quite come out the way I want it to be, but in general, all the scenes are what I want them to be. So, and you're right. Stop and look at the scene, look at the picture, and say, okay, what do you like about this picture? Well,
and that's what we want to encourage you to do this week. We want you to linger on a page and talk about it with your kiddos.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. Reading time is not, it should be a special time, and so it shouldn't be anything you're trying to hurry through.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, you'd be surprised. You linger tonight on a particular scene, and, child a couple of days later is like, let's read that book again.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Well, that's how I noticed with Eleanor. It's like 3 days of reading the same book, and she's like... She's got it. she knows what's happening next. You almost don't even have to read it. She's like, I got it. I know the next page is they're gonna be in the pool or whatever is on the next page. Right. And so we don't try to read the same books all the time, but she picks out whatever she wants off the bookshelf, and sometimes she's like, this is what I want.
Yeah, and from a kid point of view, she really likes Jemima Jope and all that. But I don't think adults like it all that well, I mean, I don't think they, we don't get a whole lot of positive, like, reviews, like, oh, this is great. This is, this is just what I'm looking for. So it's like, okay, so, but it has a lot of neat little scenes in it, rainbows and, different things. And personally, I think it's probably one of the better books.
Yeah. Well, it's also pretty deep too. So a kid's probably not seeing all of the little parts of it that are the deep parts. She just sees cat dog. Oh man, they're playing, they're having fun, they're doing things. And whereas the adults seeing like, oh, there's stuff going on in this book.
Yeah. And so, I mean, but sooner or later you have to learn to deal with things like that. And so it's a way to do that. And, and then Who's Greg, like I say, it's just another fun book.
Who's Greg is out now.
It's out now. It's available now at your favorite bookstore, and but like Greg, he goes out, and the other night he went to go out and he brought home a friend.
Yeah.
So, somebody...
he evangelized.
He evangelized.
He said, are you doing anything tonight? Come on over to my church. Come join us tonight.
He went out, he found a lost cat soul and brought it home. So we had a stray that we've been taking care of. And it's probably a good thing because it's cold here, y'all. It's like the winter's just a few days away. And we've already had snow. And it's cold. And that little cat was out there, just cold. So, Greg rescued another soul. Another cat soul to his credit. And so, but, and so,
you have to put that in the book.
Yeah, well, that's what Greg does. He goes out and then, so
he's got Panda, and then the next book he's going to have the new kitty cat.
Yeah.
Orange cat.
Yeah, orange cat. Yeah. Well, I've already had plans for...
Name. Even Eleanor just says, is the orange cat out there?
Well, I had in the coming up book, I have Mason and Yellowfella. And Mason...
Was your boss's cat.
No, it was a guy that was in a training class with me. His cat's name was Mason.
From work.
And so, well, I didn't work with these people, so it's like a different company, different place. Yeah. We were learning to be auditors or something. And so, I was like, what kind of cat is it? He's like, well, it's a white cat with orange spots, so Mason. So this particular cat is just an orange cat. And, kind of a long hair.
Long hair tabby.
Yeah, tabby kind of cat. And so, Mason probably, I don't know.
Greg is a short hair tabby.
Yeah. So, so even, the scenes in the books, it's kind of like when you do all of this stuff like, well, who's your favorite character? Well, I love them all. I love all the characters. And each scene has, some aspect to it that I really like. But, of course, there are scenes that stand out more than others, and so, but that's all just a matter of, personal...
preference.
Yeah, impression or preference or whatever, so, but we spend a lot of time, meticulous time, looking at illustrations, making sure that every detail gets carried over from one page to the next.
A lot.
Yeah, and making sure it's all documented just right. Like we're looking at the Fig and Zig, and in the end, they have the nautical flags, and decoded it spells out God loves you. And I was looking at the V flag, and it's like, oh, it's backwards, So they had to get them to flip that, it's just those little details that, that are like, when you're laying this out the first time, it's just a bunch of flags and.
Well, and then sometimes stuff switches around where it's like it already was one way, and then.
But so Fig and Zig is it's a lot of physical laws are represented in that one, and it's like you got to make sure all those formulas are correct, and it's a lot of detail, and mistakes get made. So I mean, we do the best we can. But in
there's
general,
lots of hands on these books, so.
yeah, lots of eyes, lots of people looking at them, and fortunately for us, we have a good relationship with illustrators, and they do a really good job. They do an excellent job.
Yeah.
Hats off to all you illustrators out there, because I mean they somehow managed to make things come to life. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe what y'all should do is tell us what your favorite scene is or your favorite illustration, and that's always not. Give us feedback about, oh, I really like this because of whatever, or this could have been better, because we got, like I said, we're doing 10 different books this next year, 2026, and that's the plan anyway. And so our publicist already told us that's optimistic.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. If you think you can do that, that'll be good. So we're like, okay, well, thanks for the challenge. So, but we may have to spread out some of the work. We may have to give it to different companies to get it done. But that's the goal.
Yeah.
And this time next year to have 10 more on the shelf. And
sounds like a giveaway a month. Go follow us on Facebook.
yeah, and so
that's where we normally do all the giveaways, is on Facebook and Instagram, sort of. But people normally enter on Facebook.
Yeah, the second, well, we did the first 5 bundle giveaway, and then this one will be Faces. When JG gets released. And then the next set is Of God. Yeah. And we've already got 3 of those books pretty much ready to release. We just got to start them, the other 2. And so, we'll get that done. So you'll be seeing that bundle.
Yeah.
So, and then that's just 5. Yeah. Of God is just 5. And so then the next one is Living Waters. And so the living part of Living Waters is 2 of them are in work, so, and the Nest is one of those, and IMM is one of those, and then we got 4 more in that list.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure you're staying tuned. Like, subscribe, and follow. Stay tuned for all of our new cool updates that we got.
Yep. My cue to say goodbye.
Linger. What?
My cue to say goodbye.
Well, and linger. Take a moment to linger a little bit longer on the pages when you're reading, and ask questions. What do you think about this page?
Or how do you feel?
Yeah, how do you feel? How does it, because the different the books can make you feel different. Or maybe they don't even like the book. There was one book Eleanor picked up off the shelf, and I started reading it, and she was like, no. And she gets a different book. She's like, read this one. So, just linger a little longer.
Not one of our books.
Yeah, not one of our books. It was just a book on the shelf. So, anyway, have a good week. Like, subscribe, and follow for more Between the Pages podcasts.